Surely by now everyone's heard about the Rodney Hinton Jr. case, but we wanted to touch base on it because this is just absolutely senseless. For those of you that don't really know about this case, basically Rodney Hinton Jr. was arrested after he purposefully ran over a cop and killed him. Here are the facts. May 1st, which was a Thursday, police approached a stolen car. Like, it had been reported stolen, the cops see it, they come. There were 4 suspects in the car asleep. So, of course, as soon as the cops show up, they all take off running out of the car.
Because that's what you're supposed to do when the police come.
They tell them, stop, of course. I mean, cops yell stop all the time, so the officers are commanding them to stop. They're all running. This one guy, he's running. He goes in between some dumpsters and turns around and has got a weapon in his hand. And so then the officer starts yelling, gun, and shoots him, and he dies. And so that's Ryan Hinton. He was 18. The body cam footage has been released. The officer's running. It's like the 6-second clip. It's all kind of blurry and jilting. And so everybody's trying to say that that didn't happen. In freeze frames, you can clearly see he's holding something, and at the scene, they recovered the weapon. It had an active round in it, and there were 2 full magazines there at the scene too. So clearly he had a weapon, and you can see his arm, his right arm up.
It's insane. One, you're running from a police officer. You're running from a police officer with a weapon, and then you point it at them?
Yeah. Of course, the officer shot him. And there are bad cops. There's bad apples in every single demographic and career everywhere.
Yes, every group of people, there's some, horrible people.
But I don't think that the police are out there trying to unalive people. But of course, people are outraged.
But here's the thing, though. If these people, okay, so it's a stolen car, whether it was stolen or it's a mistake, whatever you want to call it, because I've seen online people saying the car wasn't stolen, blah, blah, blah. However, when a police officer comes up to you
to ask you questions, they're just investigating.
It's not difficult to follow commands. I've been pulled over.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
No.
I don't understand what these people think they're going to gain by running away.
I mean, I guess they think they're going to get away with it.
But I mean, statistically though, how often do they get away?
I mean, not that often.
They typically
Even
will
if they're
get
not
tackled.
Caught right then, yeah.
They get tackled. There's cameras everywhere. Everybody's seen your face. You got your DNA. Everything, right? They've got the body cams now, which I'm a huge fan of them.
Yeah.
So,
But
I mean,
even
for that,
people in their personal vehicles have
dash
cams. People have cameras on their houses.
Yeah, there's cameras everywhere.
They can see which way you ran. You know what I mean?
But it's just, it does not make sense to me. It never has, to try to run from the police.
Not in this day and age, for sure.
I don't understand that mentality that, oh, I'm gonna fight. This is gonna end up even worse for you.
And you're gonna get more charges, especially like if you hit the officer.
If you hit the officer,
that's a felony, isn't it? Assault on an LEO.
Yeah, it's insane to me that these people just wouldn't stop. I'm sure his friends, they'd be doing stupid crap, and they think they're untouchable because they're teenagers. But at the same time, where are his parents teaching him not to behave this way?
Yeah. Why do you have a loaded gun? And why
did he get the loaded gun?
Why did he point the loaded gun at the cop?
But I thought you have to be 21 to own a pistol.
Yeah. Everybody was outraged when this 18-year-old was unalived by the police, even though, to my knowledge, everything was deemed by the book. Just looking at it, it seems pretty cut and dry based on the information that we can see.
I have determined that Officer A was legally justified in his use of force on that day.
Ryan's dad was brought into the police department the very next day and shown the body camera footage. He would want to see that for closure. I don't know if I wouldn't want to see it personally, but different people, right? Apparently the dad was too distraught to drive. They left, and I get it. He's upset. He just lost his son. So they brought him back to pick up his car about 12:40, and apparently within 10 minutes, Hinton had stopped his car in the median, angled it towards a deputy that he had clear view of, accelerated, and didn't stop. Killed that officer instantly. Larry Henderson was the retired officer. He was just there directing traffic for graduation. He had nothing to do with Ryan's death. He wasn't even in the same department.
Yeah, he's retired, and they just call him in to help do stuff like that, like direct traffic.
This one article that I was reading, a member of the prosecutor's office was asked, were there any evidence of skid marks? And he said, no, there were no indications at any point that he tried to brake, stop, or otherwise avoid Deputy Henderson. The prosecution believes Hinton attacked Deputy Henderson because he was the first officer that he saw.
Okay, so...
But how is that solving anything?
It's not.
Or even if you're trying to get revenge or seek out some kind of twisted justice in your own mind, a retired officer that spent his whole life devoted to protecting the public that had nothing to do with the case.
So that means his family's watching this. His family's driving behind him,
I'm
right?
assuming, yeah.
And they're watching this man just plow down someone else.
I guess. Yeah.
So they're grieving the loss of, a loved one, the 18-year-old.
Yeah.
And then you're now watching his dad murder someone.
Yeah.
In public, clear view of everybody. At a graduation?
Yeah, I believe it was a high school. And so it was a graduation for a high school. And so there was traffic everywhere. And there already were a ton of officers in the area for traffic for graduation and all of that. So, of course, a ton of officers came to the scene. Yeah. So they're saying that they have over 300 pieces of evidence in this case, and a lot of it is the body cam footage from every single one of those individual officers. Ronnie Hinton was before the judge where he makes his plea. They tell him what his charge is. It was his bond hearing. He was charged with aggravated murder. The Hamilton County deputies filled the courtroom ahead of Ronnie getting in there. And of course, online ridiculousness goes on saying that Ronnie was a hero and he did what any dad would do, which I don't think is...
Oh yeah, this is the one that's like very racially motivated, I guess would be a good word, right?
That's what the public and or media is turning it into.
It's like the social media.
Yeah.
Right?
All the officers are there in the courtroom as he's getting his bond hearing. And so the video is of him walking with his head held up high with all the officers behind him. And people are like, look at those cops trying to intimidate him. And it's like, no, they're there because they just saw one of their fellow members be killed by this man.
Yeah, a guy that
That's
retired.
why they're there.
So they probably interacted with him on some level.
Yeah.
Or even if he didn't, like, this is a man that literally spent his life, his career serving the public. He's retired and he gets called back in to continue that, even though he has every right to retirement, to go enjoy his life, go fishing. I don't know, I always think of old dudes fishing.
Yeah.
And to have him killed for no reason.
I mean, there should be public outrage for that as well. And that's why the officers were there to support their fallen brother.
Yeah.
But then you've got this other side of the internet saying that they were there to intimidate him.
Have you seen the videos where he's all timid, Rodney, with the police officers, where he's like, yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like, okay, so we're going to put on this public persona. And they keep claiming he didn't have a criminal record, but he did.
Oh.
Someone else had pulled up stuff that the dad, because they're just like, he, has never committed any crimes, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, with people, that's not an excuse to let people out of jail or off easy for bonding, that they haven't committed any crime before. You should be charged and held for murder for what you're doing now.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%.
And even if it's so-called, because he's trying to say insanity.
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. Mind. He's claiming insanity now.
Because of the grief. I get that on a level, but even still, he should be held in jail. In other cases, we won't go into those ones, they should be held in jail for the criminal actions they have committed.
Absolutely. Everybody needs to be held accountable for their own actions without putting any kind of blame on anybody else. We're all responsible for our own actions.
But I'm saying, like, you're being charged with this crime, and you coming out and saying, well, they haven't committed any other crime, so you should go easy on them. You should let them out until their trial. No. You shouldn't.
No.
You did this horrible, horrible thing. And that means you are capable of doing a horrible, horrible thing. And you could do it again.
Well, and this is the top of the charges. It's not like he did something petty. This is taking the life of another person.
You singled out an officer who had no means to protect himself at all.
With a vehicle, it's a deadly weapon. Officer Henderson was standing at the pole where the box is.
Oh, gosh,
and so he was using the box to do the stoplights. But to me, he was pinned up against that pole. So it was like a big kind of concrete pillar and pole, and then the car.
Yeah, he had no chance at all to get out of the way. That would be a split second for you to even notice a vehicle coming at you.
What if he had his back to him?
Yeah.
The way the witnesses are describing it is that Rodney Hinton Jr. was in the middle of the road, or the median of the road, stopped, angled his car, and then hit the gas. I don't understand how people could support that behavior.
In the lawsuit, Rodney Hinton Jr. claims this scene at his arraignment. And this scene during his bond hearing amounted to a coordinated effort by law enforcement to intimidate him.
He was walking out and how the whole precinct seemed to be in the courtroom.
We spoke with Antoinette Holloway. She isn't a licensed attorney, but filed the complaint on Hinton Jr.'s behalf. He's representing himself in the matter.
So when you got him behind closed doors, we don't know if he's eating. We don't know what's going on in there.
In the 5-page complaint, Hinton Jr., who is accused of intentionally running down Deputy Larry Henderson, says his civil rights were violated during his May 2nd arrest. He also claims officers used excessive force, resulting in visible injuries.
He said that he just didn't expect all the support that he is getting.
Leaders of the Black Panther movement traveled to Cincinnati Monday, in part to visit Hinton Jr. He's being held without bond inside the Claremont County Jail and faces charges including aggravated murder and felonious assault.
He appreciates our people standing with our people.
The group held this town hall Monday night to organize next steps in support of Hinton Jr.
I'm going to ask you some questions, all right? You have a serious medical or mental health issue that needs immediate attention? Is that a yes or a no? Have you recently considered attempted suicide? No. You want to hurt yourself or anybody else? No.
Yeah, so he's asked about his mental condition, if he needs immediate help. He says no, but his attorney, Clyde Bennett, said during the court appearance yesterday that he has serious mental issues, and that's what led him to run over the deputy.
There's a good chance he'll get the death penalty, right? Isn't that what they're pushing
I think they're
for?
wanting to go after it. I think I heard something earlier that they mentioned it being capital. And so when it's a capital murder charge, then the DP is on the table.
And I don't blame them.
No.
Charges. Rodney Hinton Jr. now faces the death penalty.
So you solved literally nothing with this absolutely senseless and horrific act.
So your son lost his life.
You ended someone else's life.
An officer lost his life.
And
now your life's over. It doesn't make sense. Make it make sense. Let us know what you think about this senseless crime. Until next time, stay safe.